My name is Scott Challoner, and you are listening to the Leaders Council podcast for the people who run the country and the people who keep the country running. Now, as regular listeners of our programme will know very well, part of our mission here at the Leaders Council is to bring you a variety of distinct perspectives on leadership. And to this end, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Gabriel Dumaka, Director of Rising Stars Nursery and Daycare, back onto the show. And on today's programme, it's going to be quite a special one because we're going to be talking all about Rising Stars' new exciting online platform, Rising Starlets. Gabriel, very warm welcome to you and welcome back to the show. It's great having you with us.
Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you for having me. It's
brilliant. And like I say, I certainly enjoyed the last time we had you on the show, and we were essentially talking all about sort of the background to Rising Stars and how that journey started. And the next step of that journey is essentially taking the nurseries online, isn't it? So let's talk about the Rising Starlets platform. First and foremost, Gabriel, who is it aimed at?
Rising Starlets, I wouldn't say that it came as a default, but during the pandemic in 2020, we were very desperate on how we're going to help our parents who were forced to stay at home with their children. And that got us thinking. And what has emerged as the Rising Starlets is the product of the action and the platform we started working on, which will give parents, whether they are at home or any part of the world that they have opportunity to work with their children. So it is generally aimed at parents who want the best foundation for their children in early years to work with. So they have a tool to work from any part of the world, whether they are home or on holiday or anywhere.
That's great. So obviously we're rolling out the platform initially in the UK, I guess. But are there ambitions for that to sort of go beyond the UK and almost become a global platform?
I think, Scott, when we started, it was predominantly for our UK parents and markets. And hence, the model we have used is the early years foundation stage, which is for UK. But then when we sort of rolled it out a couple of weeks ago, we just surprisingly, we have seen interest from countries like United States and of course UK, China, and the recent one was India. So it's a pleasant surprise because we now see that, wow, although this is designed for the UK market, we are seeing a situation where the issue of parents wanting the best for their children is fundamental across the world. And the UK model is a model that can actually be applied anywhere with a little tweak for those parents who are outside UK. So it has evolved as a global platform already. So that's why we're excited, and we know that the next phase will be amazing, whereby as we launch, we are definitely sure that the interest from across the world.
Absolutely amazing. And let's talk about the benefits of Rising Starlets now. How is this going to positively impact people's lives, do you feel?
As I have mentioned before, it's for any parent who wants to give their children very good foundation in early years education. This is a platform to be, because it's purely very interactive, easy to use, and any parent can work with that. So a parent, for example, there's a scheduling tool in the platform whereby it is unique to your family. You schedule your day, you schedule, from wake up time to sleep time to lunch time. So the parent is there to, schedule the routine for the child. And the interesting thing about this platform is that, once you have done that, whether the child is with the grandparents or aunties or anywhere, they have the login code and they will work with exactly, what you have planned for your child. So it is amazing. There's a very rich library of activities and fun-loving activities for the child. Almost everything you can think of, and then you have the support of professionals, early years professionals who are there to support you should you need anything. So it's an amazing platform. And what we want is across the world. Scott, you see what is happening across the world now. Look at Ukraine, for example. Many families are displaced and everywhere. So what you see is that no matter where people are, no matter what the circumstances are, they have a tool that they can use to ensure that just children do not miss out in early years education. And that's why people, we have people who are already, responding to the platform and saying, this is amazing. We have never had it this good.
And it's critical, isn't it? Because 70% of the development of the human brain happens in those first 3 years of life, those formative years, doesn't it? So it's so important that early years exposure isn't lost where there are those circumstances. And I can see certainly sort of how you're looking to mitigate against the possibility of that happening, certainly with regards to sort of the global situation at the moment. But I suppose as well with things like this, ease of usage is also key, isn't it? Accessibility is so important. So is it easy for people to actually register and sign up to this platform? How do you go about doing that?
Well, it's very easy. We have our website, which is www.risingstarlets.com. So once you get on the site, the navigating the platform is very easy. And then so going to our homepage, you just see what the platform is about. And then the icon to register is there for you to work with. So it's very, 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 very easy to use navigator platform, which is a very great advantage for all our parents.
Yeah, fantastic. So accessibility is easy, sign-up's easy, and then in terms of the structure as to how it works, there's different membership categories within the platform as well, isn't there, depending on the kind of content that you want to access and sort of how long you want to use it for?
Correct. Yes, we have our subscription is they are in 3 categories, and I think the least starts from about £11.59 per month. Mm-hmm. And then there's that one, then there's the second one, and then the third one. So they are very within reasonable budget. So parents, in fact, the feedback we have received is such that it's quite affordable, and they get the first 7 days free trial, and then make up their mind whether it's something they want to use. But as I have said, it's in 3 categories, and very, very much reasonable in terms of cost.
And that's so important, isn't it? The financial side of the accessibility of something like this, because in the context of the current global climate, with the current cost of living crisis and inflationary pressures, it is important for this to be accessible to families. And it certainly seems as if that's something that you've considered in all of this. And it's positive that the feedback there has been really good.
Scott, you are spot on, because if you look at UK, for example, the average let me use our setting, for example, let me just say for a child to be with us in a week or a day, it's about average of £70, for example. And we are talking of £11 for a month as a subscription. And what you're getting in Rising Starlet is a full nursery, but online, very much supported by professionals, who are there to guide you and assist you. And so you can't go wrong with that. It's very affordable. And just you are right in what you said about the economy at the moment. So when you have such a situation, and then you have some parents who are even forced to stay at home, they're working from home. They now have tools that they can work with their child. And it has been a very big challenge for parents where they are unable to structure the child's day. So with these, they have something to work with. And also we have found out in our research that there are parents, even because of their culture, they choose not to, send their children to traditional nurseries as we know it. So if these parents are at home, they have something to work with. But the most important thing is that, the child will not suffer. So we need that fundamental early years education that the child needs to be able to do well in their adult life. So, it's very, very important. And we are very optimistic that, it's a tool that will help parents, and carers, work with their children.
That's great. And we'll talk a little bit more about the optimism that you have for the future of Rising Starlets in a little moment. But just before we do that, it'd be good to talk about maybe one or two examples of people who've sort of benefited from using the platform, because we've talked about some of the benefits, but are there any tangible examples as to how it has sort of really helped transform people's lives?
Yeah, we have, because, Scott, I don't know of course, we have some nurseries, which we are practically running now on site. And so what we have done is, extended this facility to our parents. And let's say, for example, you are working from, you're taking 3 days of nursery in a week, and the 2 days you're at home with your child. So you have parents who have looked at it and have tried it out and said, wow, this is amazing. The fact that we have almost the same structure that the child has in the nursery. It's easy for us to work with the child all through the day, from the time the child wakes up and in the morning. So it's not, when the child is not in the nursery, the time is well structured. In fact, that particular one, we call it Build My Day. So you're able to build your day, in line with the structure that the child already knows in the nursery. So, so our first phase in rolling this out is, through our parents who are registered with us. And as soon as we are comfortable with, all the observations, we will now, extend it to parents, across the world, just to be sure that they are maximizing the use of the platform.
And that structure is absolutely critical, as you talk a lot about there, because that was a huge problem when we sort of took educational resources online during the pandemic, and it seems that that's something you certainly thought of. So it's little wonder that you're so optimistic for the future, and the feedback so far has been so good. And thinking about the future of the platform, just before we wrap things up, then Gabriel. I know that we've talked about sort of your ambitions to sort of take it beyond the UK and take it into sort of the US and then the European markets, for instance. But what are you really hoping to achieve with this? And what are your personal ambitions for it?
Scott, the key thing for us is to be able to give children opportunity to have a quality early years education. And so for us, after the stage of working with our parents, and once this platform is up and running, we intend to extend this to the government, to our borough, in our, where we are, the early years education section there, and then we, up to national level. We want to give them. In fact, what we are thinking of is even whatever we are going to do, irrespective of what the subscription is, we want to be able to roll it out at a very minimal cost. But the most important is that we make this facility available to people who need it, children that need it, parents who are desperate to work with their children, parents who are very apprehensive of returning to nursery, especially with the pandemic. We want everybody to be carried along. For us, it's not about the profit. It's about how do we contribute our little quota to what the government is doing to help our children in early years, and that is primarily what we're pursuing. So if we're able to link up with our early years in our borough and then across the nation, that would be a very fulfilling thing for us. The most important thing for us is the joy of knowing that we are able to help that family, that single mom that is struggling, that child, for example, that has a special education need, so that the parents are able, going through that platform, if there's any challenge that the child has, the parent is able to identify it, and then there'll be an early intervention. It's about what we can give back to the society. That's our key interest.
And that's incredible in all of this, isn't it? The fact that it is motivated by that will and that desire to really make a difference to people's lives. And I certainly do wish you all the best, Gabriel, in really executing that mission to the best possible effect. And hopefully Rising Starlets will excel over the next 12 months and beyond. And just for any listeners that are tuning in, if you do want to find out more about Rising Stars Nursery and Daycare and the Rising Starlets platform, please do go and visit risingstarsnurseries.com. I think that would be the best port of call, wouldn't it, Gabriel?
Thank you.
Fantastic. And thank you, Gabriel, for your time as well in joining us on the programme to talk all about this exciting new platform. It's absolutely fantastic what you're doing, and as I say, do wish you all the luck in the world moving forward with this. And it would be fantastic to even welcome you back onto the show and catch up at some point in the next year just to see how the platform's coming along and talk more about how it really is making that real impact on people's lives.
Thank you very much, Scott.
And to everybody listening into today's programme, I do hope that you thoroughly enjoyed my interview with Gabriel Dumaka from Rising Stars Nursery and Daycare. And as always, I've been your host on today's episode of the Leaders Council podcast, Scott Challoner. Until next time, when we'll be back with a whole new perspective on leadership, please do remember that you can apply to be on the programme yourself if you want to bring your own perspective to the discussion table, and that would be via leaderscouncil.co.uk/apply. Take care, everyone, and goodbye. Until next time.